If there's one thing we've learned from the internet is that if you want people to look at you, say something unpopular or controversial. Now, because I'm not an Australian senator, I won't be saying anything racist or sexist, but I will be giving you an unpopular opinion about cars. I quite like the BMW X2. There, I said it. Now, despite Australians absolutely adoring SUVs, particularly premium ones, the X2 hasn't really captured the imagination, but I reckon this is the one to get Australians excited about it. It's the M Performance version. It's the X2 M35i. As always, people get terribly upset with the liberal application of the M Sport badge. M Performance cars are a halfway house between a full-on M car and a standard BMW. Think 220i, M240i and M2. The M Performance car is the middle ground. There is no X2M, at least not yet. And I can't see why you'd need one. This thing is a monster. It has 225 kilowatts and 450 Newton meters of torque. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that under this plastic cover, the engine goes this way across the car. That's because this car rides on the same platform as the Mini and the X1 and a bunch of other BMW and Mini cars. So this isn't the straight six, it's a 2-litre twin-scroll turbo. It's an excellent engine, and in this car it's all very noisy and crackly, and I really quite like that. So with all that power, BMW obviously decided that front-wheel drive was mental, so it's got all-wheel drive. It's got a ZF 8-speed automatic as well, which is much better than the old 7-speed twin-clutch in a lot of M cars. And believe it or not, it has a limited slip differential between the front wheels. BMW says that's to reduce torque steer, but it really doesn't hurt in the corners either. And that's not all. You also get bigger M Performance brakes, and you can tell that they're M Performance brakes by the blue calipers. Here in Australia, we get as standard the bigger 20-inch wheels with Pirelli P0s and their 225/40s, if that kind of thing interests you. Now, while I'm here, if you want to know more about this car, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. And before you go, don't go yet, make sure you click subscribe so that you can get all of the new videos pop up on your feed as they're posted. The X2's interior is a little bit boring. It was one of the last interiors BMW did before things started getting interesting with the new 3 Series and the X5. It's all very functional, it all works well, it's just a bit, you know. However, in the M35i, you've got these wonderful seats with the Alcantara, really grippy. They stop you from sliding around, they're very comfortable. I'm not sure about the blue, but you know, whatever. Lovely M steering wheel. I love an M steering wheel. I just wish the paddles weren't so cheap. You've got good storage, you've got this, you've got the cup holders, USB port down there, bottle holders, and a big screen with iDrive 6, that's very good, and you have wireless CarPlay. Now, you also get, with the $2,900 enhanced package, you get metallic paint, sunroof, and wireless charging. That's good, but there's a problem. Hidden in the armrest is the wireless charging pad. Now, it works really, really well with wireless CarPlay, except I've got one of the bigger phones, which must mean I'm compensating for something, and it doesn't fit. That's a bit of an oversight. Here in the back, things are surprisingly roomy. I mean, this is a compact SUV after all. I'm sitting here behind where I drive. I'm 6 feet tall, just a tiny bit under, and I've got plenty of room, knee room, lots of foot room, and yeah, it's comfortable. It's a good seat. Probably a little bit lacking in under thigh support. You'll live. Good storage. You got bottle holders, door pockets, cup holders, and something of a rarity, you actually have air conditioning vents back here. Not only that, BMW have thought about the people who are slung in the back, and there are 2 USB ports to keep your stuff charged. Very comfortable, I quite like it. Just a tiny bit of a problem, getting in and out is a little bit tricky because of the shape of the door, but you know, practice makes perfect. Just for fun, the X2 M35i has an electric tailgate, which you can also operate from the remote. I've never really understood it, it's not really a hard thing to do. But anyway, 470 litres of boot space. That is a big boot for such a small car. You've also got underneath here, underfloor storage. You could get a laptop bag in there full of stuff. It's quite good. Actually, you could almost get a suitcase under there. And then when you put the rear seats down, 1,355 litres. I think it looks really good too. Lots of extra bodywork, big wheels, that wedgie profile. It's cool, even in white. Now I've been keeping a dirty secret. Actually, it's not a dirty secret, it's the price. The X2 M35i is $68,900. Now that's not cheap, not by a long shot, but the Audi RSQ3 is over 85 grand and is so old it needs carbon dating. The Mercedes GLA 45 AMG is over 90 grand. For the price of this, you can get one X2 M35i and one of these, a Kia Picanto. Now, both of those cars are an enormous amount of fun. The Audi 5-cylinder engine is an absolute beast, and the farting firecracker 2.4 4 in the AMG is also awesome. Both have way more power, but they're not a Kia Picanto faster. They just aren't. But you're not here to hear me talk about other cars. You want to hear about this one. Now, I mentioned earlier something about there being a couple of problems. One of them is the driving position, and it's not because it's bad, it's just that it took me forever to get comfortable, and I don't know why. And I think that's partly to do with its kind of Mini origins. I always take a little while to get comfortable in a Mini. Once I'm comfortable, I'm happy, but it did take a little while, so thank goodness for all of the adjustments, so your steering and your seats and everything, plenty of adjustment. This engine is fantastic. I really like this engine. Most BMW engines aren't particularly charismatic. I mean, you know, the days of wild, high-revving V10s are long gone, and so BMW seem to have taken a bit of time in getting some charisma into its turbo engines, but this one's got it. It's really good. I love how it pops and bangs, and it's even quite obnoxious in comfort mode, and then let alone in sport, so you can really hear this car coming. It's a bit weird that you can't turn it off, because even in Eco Pro it's quiet, unless there's a button somewhere that I'm missing, but anyway, that's a small thing. But it really is a terrific engine, and the transmission, as ever, is so good. It's really, really good. But the thing about this car that really got me is the way that having the limited slip diff at the front really, I think that really makes the car. It pulls you out of corners. It just feels really planted. You can go into corners really fast. You can turn in, and there's no scrabbling or carry on, and there's definitely no torque steer. So, as BMW said, that front diff is about torque steer. And you know, it's fast, it's really fast. And this is what I was saying about the other cars. They're a lot more expensive, but they're not that much faster. And I think the handling on this is better than the RSQ3, and it's definitely a better rider than the Mercedes. So yeah, I think BMW's done a really good job at kind of a first attempt of this kind of car. Like, yeah, they've been doing performance cars for years, but this is their first attempt at a car like this, and I am super impressed. You could probably consider the X2 M35i as a preview to the next 1 Series M performance cars, and it's a preview I really like. The engine's terrific, the platform's great, it handles really well, it's good fun to drive, but it's really practical. I really like it. Whether the 1 Series is all of those things remains to be seen, but the X2 M35i, it's a fine car. It does what its German rivals do, or at least 99% of it, for a hell of a lot less. I reckon that's a good deal.